To Lagos, where chaos broke out at the State House of Assembly as men of the Department of State Services barricaded the offices of some principal officers, including the Speaker. The lawmakers decided to move into the chamber to conduct the day's business, even with the security operatives occupying the chamber. They condemned what they describe as the invasion of their chamber and called on high authorities to investigate the matter. Arise correspondent Tokumbo Oyetunji has details.
A house of drama that aptly describes the situation here at the Lagos House of Assembly on Monday morning. Members and staff wake up to find armed strangers in their midst, their mission unclear to all. Shortly, the Speaker joins our colleagues at a waiting area within the premises and they deliberate. They then decide to ignore the armed security personnel barricading the offices of principal officers, including that of the Speaker and the Assembly chamber. It is tough, but they are determined and are joined by supportive members of staff of the Assembly as they gain entrance into the chamber. Some call on God for intervention, but still a hurdle to cross, getting the Speaker in. Finally, she's in, and the day's business begins in earnest with a matter of urgent public importance raised by Kehinde Joseph in Limosho Constituency 1.
They are persuaded the House of the Assembly. You don't know what really happens. So what we saw this morning, it surprised us. And some of the members that are even having health challenges, some of them are going to, they are just one of them to hospital, and we are not of others to see people with weapons in the chamber. This is the Lagos State House of Assembly, House of former standard of excellence. Whatever the situation, whatever the problem, I don't know if you come to this extent, to this arrested.
More of his colleagues join in to condemn the invasion of the Assembly premises and call for an investigative action.
What we see today, I don't know what we are going to tell our children. We have to force ourselves to our own chamber. And I knew that all our elders, all our leaders that stood for the moment of those period will not be happy seeing what we saw today.
Only to find out they do not want us to see what is our sin. For DSS to say we cannot see our people again, that we cannot be born. What is our sin? Is it a sin for us to elect a president officer? We need to know. Those against saying they are things.
Then, the other business of the day, a vote of confidence on Speaker Mojisola Miranda.
I move the motion to say that we do pass the vote of confidence on Right Honorable Mojisola Miranda.
Allow the Speaker to advance the decision by the Speaker.
Motion carried. Emotional Miranda hits the gavel and the house erupts in jubilation. House adjourns.
This house stands adjourned to set
It is an indefinite adjournment. Where does the House go from here? Will Lagos' first female speaker return to her seat, or she has just had the last hit of the gavel? We certainly need more time to get the answers. Tokumbo Oyetunji, Arise News, Lagos.
Meanwhile, the Department of State Services says, contrary to reports, that it was at the Lagos State House of Assembly on the invitation of the Assembly executives to maintain order. The service says it had received a letter signed by the acting clerk of the Assembly, Mr. A.T.B. Otun, informing it of plans by the impeached Speaker of the Lagos State House of Assembly to resume office on the 18th of February 2025 and also requesting fortification of the Assembly. All right, I'm sure you've both seen what's happened. I mean, we just played the video there, the opera that's gone on, the analysis, commentaries, posts, the shenanigans, if I could put it that way, that happened at the Lagos State House of Assembly. And the DSS's role in particular, even though they're saying that they were invited to come. What do you make of this, Professor Keller?
What do I make of it? I see chaos. I see vexatious, embarrassing conduct in the public space. And, we must learn to call these things for what they are, even without shouting, because it doesn't... So who are the participants in this situation? You have the Speaker of the House, you have the member of the House of Assembly, you have the DSS. I want people to think of a few things. Do you know, viewers, that the minimum qualification to be a member of the DSS is a graduate degree? To that extent, they are automatically or required to be more educated than any member of that house that they've gone into. And yet, I did not see decorum or professionalism. The members of the House, from the Speaker to the last member, are there to represent members of Lagos State. They are singing, pushing, and dancing. Regardless of what led to it, are we saying that DSS do not understand the difference between invaders and the one to be invaded? Are we saying that members of DSS got there and did not realize that this is the Speaker, these are the members? Are we saying that the Speaker herself and the other members did not get information before they got to that place, that the place are surrounded by DSS? Are we saying that nobody taught it, that maybe we should just go home and find another way? Are we saying that nobody could think through that there's no need to be pushing and pulling? They were singing and crying and dancing. It doesn't make sense. If these are the honorary members of our society, what are we going to say of the barbarians? Who are the thugs? Who are the barbarians and the thugs and the criminals? I think regardless of our party stance, regardless of who's behind this, because, and it must be said, whilst we are looking at the people in that house, there are some few somewhere that are pushing the buttons. But I question the mindset of all the participants. And I think this calls for serious reflection for all of us.
All right, serious reflection and questioning the mindset of the participants in all of this. Rufai, your take on this story?
Couple of things. Chaos in Lagos, because the powers that be want Lagos to be in chaos. I tell you the truth. I don't want you to agree with all the things I'm going to say today, but I'll speak nothing but the truth. Number one fact. Obasa cannot do what he's doing without the highest powers that be supporting him. Number one fact. The earlier we get that fact, the better it is. When lawmakers are pulled out or impeached or whatever the word might be, and the allegations of corruption, and they are removed, normally you expect they should be facing the EFCC by now, but Obasa is not facing anybody. He's come back stronger. Secondly, the GSC is trying as much as possible to resist these onslaughts of these powers that be. So it's a fight between the lawmakers supported by part of the GSC and those that want Obasa back. Miranda is just a victim in their crossfire. The fight is not about her. It's about the hegemonies that be in Lagos and what they are fighting for to capture the soul of the house. The DSS part of it, I think, is an afterthought in the narrative. Is it today that DSS arrested some lawmakers in Lagos concerning these assembly matters in Lagos? No. And I really like what they wrote in the editorials today, condemning this, saying that once people have been removed, they should take their fate. And the DSS coming into the hollow chamber is a sad reality for our democracy. So let all of us keep acting like we don't know who are the puppeteers in this Lagos debacle. Let all of us keep saying we don't want to speak as regards it. But you see, the puppeteers will continue to puppet or do anything they do because they know, number one, they will always see people complicit in their greed. Two, they will always see people too afraid to challenge them. Three, they will always thrive on the gullibility of millions of people. And four, heads or tail, they can easily manipulate the people. And that's what simply is happening in Lagos. The other part of the drama will continue. This is not the end of the drama. In fact, this is just a part of this series called the Lagos drama. Let's see if those that are behind Obasa will try again. And let's see if this resistance will hold on. But for the valiant lawmakers fighting back, we salute your courage, but also know that there will be consequences. As you are ready to take on the consequences, posterity will judge all of us.
All right, I think Nigerians ought to be worried about recent happenings in the political space, especially the interference, as it seems, of federal might on local politics, whether at local government level or even, as we've seen now, state assembly level. I bring into play what's also happening in Osun State, what's happened in and still happening in River State, and now they brought it to Lagos State, the center of excellence, and meant to be the center where at least a lot of other states look up to. The State of Assembly was invaded by the DSS. That's the word that was used, and the House of Assembly, through a statement, has said that yes, the invitation of the DSS was not for them to come and invade the House. In turn, do what was the opposite of what they had asked them to do. In truth, the former speaker, and I use the word former speaker of the State House of Assembly, was meant to resume yesterday. And in anticipation of any kind of chaos that would break out, the DSS had been invited. But unfortunately, on the invitation, then it became the enemy of their inviters, as it seems. I'm waiting for a full statement from the DSS beyond we were invited. Why was that show of shame on display yesterday? We need to be careful the way that we use state actors or state apparatus to attack the very reason why they're in office, which is attack democracy in its entirety. Why would the DSS be used to interfere in matters of in democratic matters, as we see here in the State of Assembly, Lagos State House of Assembly? The challenge with this is that if we continue to fold our hands and look at things like this, we're going to be running a nation that is in a state of chaos, a one-party state, and a state where anybody with the might of the police, the DSS, or the military would have the upper hand. That is utter chaos. Obasa has put the matter in court, or has taken the matter in court. Let the rule of law supersede. Why are they now fighting like thugs in the State House of Assembly? It's been a while we've seen infighting in our House of Assembly, and it's a total act of shame. And I hate to bring this into play, but I have to talk about this. Speaker Mojisola Miranda is the first female speaker in the House. And it was sad to see she had to dissolve and be humiliated almost, or descend into tears as a result of the injustice and unfairness meted on her, just because she's a victim, like you put it before, in all of this. It is sad. And for the sake of our democracy, we almost speak up to kick against this disgraceful acts that happened here in Lagos State yesterday. If things must be done, let due process follow. That's what Nigerians are asking for. This is 2025. At what point are we going to get our democratic processes right? If the lawmakers in the state are not able to get their acts together and there is obvious interference, it is a shame, it is sad, and I hope that we will not see things like this again in the state, but I'm sad to say that, unfortunately, we'll continue to say it. Look at the show of shame that's happening in Osun State. Again, federal versus state might. Look at the show of shame that's been happening in River State since the governor came into office. Federal versus state might. When would we practice true federalism in this country called Nigeria, where there's separation of powers?